Work Zone Safety Awareness Week is a week that we donate through our national campaign. It's usually between April 9th through the 13th, where we talk about the hazards associated with working in and around work zones, to bring awareness to not only drivers but our crews that work within the zones. Work zone safety is important to PWC because we have a large part in setting up those zones. And we want to be continually setting up the same standard within our zones so that we don't confuse the public that we work for, and to make sure that we ensure safety of not only our personnel, our community. Everybody's responsible for work zone safety. It starts with us setting up the zones and making sure that we're within the same standard each time, to the individuals driving or are passing through our zones, to make sure that they're not distracted driving, texting on their phones, obeying local laws. Our crews have a new requirement this year starting in July, and that is the actual setup crew also has to be certified, not just the supervisor or the flagger. There's been a lot of studies done recently from Ohio State that looked at some of the behaviors that we have with our work zone safeties, and one of the things that they found out is the continual consistency of setting up the zones the same. And that's what we're looking at to improve on. And for the drivers, from their perspective, going through a work zone, it tends to be rather confusing for them, especially with all the cones all over. There's lots of cool things to look at, cranes and backhoes. And they tend to get very distracted. So it's really important that our crews, push off to the edge of the road and make sure that they're setting up those zones correctly. Driver behavior affects work zone safety in many ways. Again, texting and driving. If you're not paying attention, and believe it or not, passengers are the #1 cause for injuries. It's over 80% of the injuries or deaths or anything like that resulting in a work zone fatality were because of the passenger distracting the driver. Very, very little, less than 10 to 13% are actual crew-related injuries. So making sure that you prepare, if you can avoid that zone, it's better to plan a different route or give yourself some extra time. Some other tips that we can use to protect our employees and our community. When encountering a work zone, remember, stay alert, don't speed, watch and obey the signs, don't drive while distracted, watch out for road debris, don't change lanes in a work zone, and be patient. And finally, don't tailgate. On an average given day, we have about 24 crews working around town. So more than likely within our community, you're going to see us on the street. The road work ahead sign is defined as unusual driving conditions. So that really defines our work zone safety, and be prepared for things that are normally not usual to our driving conditions. It's my intent and PWC's intent to bring all our employees to work safely and to make sure that they get home to their families every night. So work safely and be very cautious in work zones.